we bring Middle East, I'll be making Easter dinner. I'll be making crown roast of lamb stuffed with saffron rice, Phyllo Wrapped Asparagus, and orange blossom pistachio coffee cake. Now I'm going to take my spices out that I need for the show. I'll be using some saffron, some cardamom, some black pepper, some coarse salt or sea salt, cinnamon, and cloves. Now we are ready to make the dough for the orange blossom pistachio coffee cake. For this recipe, we need 1/4 cup of lukewarm water, temperature between 90 and 102, and 2.5 teaspoons dry yeast, equivalent to 1 envelope, 1 tablespoon of sugar. Let it sit for about 5 minutes. While we are waiting for the yeast to rest, I will measure 4 cups of all-purpose flour in this bowl. We have to level the cup always. Make sure we have 4 cups. You want to be very accurate when measuring for baking. 3, 4. To this, I'll add 3/4 cup of warm milk, one cup of sugar, and half stick of unsalted butter, softened. Slice it into about 1/4 inch slices. It's much easier to incorporate with the other ingredients when you slice it like this. And then gradually I'll add the flour, half cup at a time. One teaspoon salt goes in the mix also. I have brushed a glass bowl with some oil. Now we'll change the mixing attachment into the dough hook attachment to finish kneading the dough. It's a real simple dough to make, and it's a sweet dough actually. dough is ready. It's real nice and pliable. It's not too sticky, it's not too stiff, and that's how exactly we want it. I had brushed this bowl with some oil. Turn to coat all surfaces with oil. And I'll have a piece of saran wrap. And cover it with a nice kitchen towel and let it rest for about an hour to hour and a half to rise. Now we will prepare making the crown roast of lamb. For this recipe, I need 2 racks, 8 chops each. And to create the crown what I would do is, first of all, I'll season each one of them with some sea salt. I like using the sea salt because it has more flavor on this side, and then some freshly grounded black pepper. We'll press on it and we'll turn it on this side, and we'll do the same thing. We'll season the other side too with some sea salt. And some freshly ground black pepper. Press on it. Then what I would do is I will tie both ends together to create the crown. I'll be using some kitchen twine to do this. So I need 2 pieces of kitchen twine. I will tie this end tie both ends together of the chops. You could use 3 racks if you want, if you have more people to feed, or 2 is good. Should be able to feed about maybe 6 to 8 people easily with this size. Tie these ends together also. That's good. And now we will place it in this roasting pan. And this will go in the fridge to cool off. Now we are ready to make the saffron rice. I have 1/4 cup of water in here. And then I'll add about half teaspoon of saffron threads and let it soak for about half an hour or so until we are ready to cook the rice. It's gonna sit there. Then some 1 to 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil in my sauté pan. We'll heat it up. for a few minutes. To this, I'll add half cup of slivered almonds. We'll saute until golden brown. Transfer them to this mixing bowl. You could use brown raisins or golden raisins, whatever you prefer. Turn the heat down. We're just gonna saute them until plump, just for not even a minute. You'll see how they are puffed. As soon as they get puffed like this, we need to transfer them to this bowl over the raisins. Now I have 1 pound of minced lamb. We'll saute this until brown. Mincing the meat in smaller cubes like this will make it cook much faster. Now the meat is all brown. I'll add half cup of water and I'll put the lid back, and then we'll let it cook until tender. It's gonna take about 20 to 25 minutes. Now, while we are waiting for the meat to cook, we'll cook the rice. Use 2 to 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil. I have 2 cups of rice here that I washed and soaked for about 30 minutes, and I drained the water. Now I'll add the drained rice. And give it a quick stir. I'm gonna make sure all the rice grains are coated with the oil. Gently, we don't want to break the grains. Then I'll add the saffron that's soaked in the water. We want to use all the threads to get maximum flavor of the saffron. To this, we'll add 2 cups of water. And 2 teaspoons of salt to season. We'll bring it to a boil. Now I like to use a freshly ground cardamom. That's when you have all the maximum flavor and it smells so good, and it's a great way to use it. So whenever I can, I like to use freshly ground. So I have a few pods in here that I will grind using this. It's cut. I'll add half teaspoon or 1 teaspoon even of cardamom. half teaspoon of cinnamon, and half teaspoon of cloves, and now the mixture is coming to a boil. We'll give it a good stir. Make sure all these spices are incorporated in the cooking liquid. Now the rice is coming to a boil. We'll reduce the heat to medium or low. We'll put the cover back on the pot and we'll let it cook for about 10 to 15 minutes until tender. Now the rice is cooked through, it's nice and tender. We'll turn the heat off and we'll let it sit to cool off. And the meat is cooked through. We'll season it with some black pepper and some salt, just enough to season the meat. And give it a quick stir. And we'll set it on the side to cool off. Turn the heat off. Now the rice is cooled off. The meat is also cooled off. I will mix all the stuffing ingredients together. The meat goes into the rice. And the almonds and the raisins goes in there too. Gently, we'll mix all of them together to blend it. It smells so good. I love the smell of saffron. It's amazing. Now, what I would do is I will use some of this rice filling to stuff our crown roast. So let's go in the middle. We'll try to mount it high in there. Okay, this looks good. And then we'll use the remaining of rice to serve separate when the roast is all cooked. Now what I would do is I will cover it with parchment paper and then some foil. Ready grease. Cook it in the oven, covered for about 30 to 35 minutes, depending on how well done you want it to be. Now we'll continue working on preparing the orange blossom pistachio coffee cake. The dough is already risen, it's nice and rested. We gonna make the filling that goes on the coffee cake. We need 2 cups of coarsely ground pistachios, unsalted. And 1 tablespoon freshly grounded cardamom. Love the smell of freshly ground cardamom. Half cup of sugar and 2 tablespoons of orange blossom water. That's good. We'll mix everything together. It smells so good. The cardamom, the orange blossom water with the pistachios. It's a great, great filling for our coffee cake. What I would do is I'll divide the dough into 2 equal portions. Put the other portion back in there, cover it until we're ready to use it. Working with 1 piece of a dough at a time. We'll dust some flour on my work surface, and I will roll out this portion of dough. We want it to be about 1/2 inch thickness. Such a great dough to work with. It's beautiful. Make it as thin as possible. Okay. This is great. It's nice and stretched out. Now what I would do is I will brush the entire surface with some softened butter. This will make it even more flaky and gives it all that nice flavor of butter. Okay, this looks good. Now what I would do is I will sprinkle 1/2 of the filling all around the surface. Looks great. Now we will fold it jelly roll style, so we can have all these beautiful layers of dough and pistachio filling. It is going to be amazing. It's my favorite coffee cake. And we'll tape the ends. We don't want to have any of the pistachio escaping out, so we'll tape the ends, both ends, and we'll try to stretch it. Flatten it. The coffee cake, just a little bit, not too much. We'll transfer it to a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. And now what I would do is, just to give it some nice design, I will go 2/3 of a way and cut, leaving 1 inch apart, all 2/3 of the way, all the way around, about 1 inch apart. And this is gonna create a beautiful design. You'll be able to see the pistachio filling inside, and it's gonna look great. It's good. Then what I would do is I'll start flattening every piece like that, just a little bit. Flatten every piece. It's great. Look how beautiful it looks already. It's amazing. It's so beautiful. Then we'll cover it with a plastic wrap. And we'll let it sit for about 20 to 30 minutes to rest, while we'll continue working with the other part of the dough. Now I will work with the second piece of dough. We will do exactly the same thing. We'll roll it out as thin as possible. We'll spoon the remaining pistachio filling. What a beautiful colors, Jelly Roll style, to create all these layers of dough and filling. Try to flatten it a little. Transfer it to a baking sheet lined with parchment paper, and then we'll cut 2/3 of the way, an inch apart, all the way around. Cover it with plastic wrap and let it sit to rest for 30 minutes. Now we'll check on our roast. It's been cooking for about 30 minutes. We'll take the cover out and then we'll cook it uncovered for another 15 minutes. Check on our roast. Smells amazing, and look how beautiful our crown roast looks. Looks so good. We want to set it aside to cool off before carving it. Now our coffee cake has been resting for 30 minutes and it's ready for baking. I'll crack 2 eggs. We'll brush the entire surface with the egg to give it a nice golden crust. And now it's ready to go in the oven. I have my oven preheated to 350 degrees. We'll bake the coffee cake in the oven for 25 to 30 minutes until golden brown. Now we are ready to prepare the Phyllo Wrapped Asparagus. I have some phyllo dough. What I will do is I will cut it in half, long way, to create 2 strips. And set it on the side. I'll take 1 strip at a time and brush it with some olive oil. This is a great recipe to use for Easter. Easter always reminds us of spring, and it's a nice way to use these vegetables. Sprinkle some Parmesan cheese, some black pepper, and some salt. And I'll take one of my asparagus that's already washed and trim the ends and wrap it all the way. And we'll set it on a baking sheet lined with parchment paper, and we will continue wrapping the remaining of asparagus same way. Parmesan cheese, some black pepper, and some salt. Just roll them like a cigar. What I would do is I will brush the top with some olive oil. Brushing them with olive oil will make them crispy and golden brown. Will give them that nice crust. We'll check on our coffee cake. Smells amazing. I wish you can smell it. Look at this. Look how beautiful does this look. It smells so good and it's amazing. We'll set it on the side to cool off for a few minutes. Our Phyllo asparagus wrap are going in the oven to bake for about 10 to 15 minutes, 325 degrees until golden brown. Now we're gonna check on the asparagus. Look at these beautiful cigars. Look how golden and crispy, and they are amazing. The asparagus are cool enough for us to transfer on this beautiful platter. Look how nice and beautiful and crispy the asparagus are. If this doesn't remind you of spring, I don't know what will. Just perfect for this time of the year. time we have for today. In today's show, I made Easter dinner. We made crown roast of lamb stuffed with saffron rice. We made Phyllo Wrapped Asparagus and orange blossom pistachio coffee cake. Thank you so much for coming to my kitchen and enjoy Middle Eastern cooking. We hope to see you next time with more exotic dishes from the Middle East. Happy Easter!